Welcome to Politico Junkies, where we've all bookmarked dirty.com and been through a lot of therapy to get to the point where we can have this conversation today. Weiner, I don't know, what else do we even say about the guy? Does he stay? He obviously stays into the race. He wins, right?
Up to the New Yorkers now, right, to see how trustworthy he is. But, you know, it kind of feels weird because this was going on in November, and that's pretty not too far in the rearview mirror, as he says.
I feel like people haven't emphasized that enough. I mean, it took place after he resigned from Congress, after he confessed to his wife, after they had gone through therapy, and he's still doing it months before he decides he's going to announce for mayor.
The New York Times article, right, comes out in April. So let's say the reporter's working on that 2 months before, so then we're only 4 months away from when he was doing it. It's just very odd.
Right. I mean, to me, he's got to give up the contrition, redemption, revival narrative, because you don't
This is who I am.
you don't sin in November and then have revival by February in time for the April deadline of the New York Times Magazine. His only hope is that people don't care whether he is rehabilitated and redeemed, that they just don't give a damn about anything related to that side of human nature and specifically his nature. Because if they do, he's been exposed as essentially as a fraud.
And don't you think they're polling and they're going to watch the polls, and if they're fine, you know, then nothing happens. If he plunges, it's at some point in New York Times writing the editorial,
his ability
to get out,
to raise money, to keep staff, to not go through any given day without being subject to like the nonstop barrage of this stuff is nil. So you're exactly right. They're probably just like, well, that's what'll happen. Stranger stuff has happened. They might say, and I would say, look, they're right. A lot of strange stuff has happened. Ask David Vitter, ask Mark Sanford.
Is this a page out of Bill Clinton's playbook, John?
Bill Clinton had something that Anthony Weiner doesn't have, and yes, he's obviously trying to steal the playbook. But Bill Clinton had the office of the presidency, in which he had already established credibility and formed a pretty strong bond with the American people when he tested that bond by saying, "Hey, I need you to forgive this behavior." You know, like Anthony doesn't really have that. Like, he doesn't have a platform, and he's not really known for policy achievements. He's known for a flamboyant personality, and I guess this validates that.
And remember where we are in the race, right? I mean, he had looked like a fraud before, he's apologized before, he sexted before, and he showed pictures of his private parts before. And he was still leading in the polls, so it's just a little bit more of what he had done before.
But
so it's not inconceivable. People say whatever.
But I think that was, voters were looking at it and thinking, okay, well, they like a redemption story. They like to forgive people, but when it comes back and you find out, well, he's still doing the things that he was doing when he was saying he was redeemed. I think it severely undercuts sort of the narrative of his comeback.
We always say that they love a redemption story. It's possible they don't care about a redemption story because they make a judgment that when it comes to people's private lives, like, they're just out of bounds.